Hey everyone, I'm Scott Stokely, and if you followed me or the sport at all, you are aware that on April 26th at Eagles Crossing in Missouri, the world's largest skins match in the history of disc golf is going to be taking place. It's called Big Money Skins, and somehow I was invited to be one of the four players. And I will be competing on April 26th along with Calvin Heimberg, Eagle McMahon, and Brody Smith. And a bunch of exciting things are happening. It's like I said, it's already the biggest skins match in disc golf. GK Pro is putting this together. They're filming it. But there's some more exciting stuff happening. And I am chatting with Dave McCormack, who is for now known as the owner and creator of Gateway Discs, but 100 years from now may be known as the guy that designed Eagles Crossing Disc Golf Course, because by all accounts, it may be the best course in the entire world. In fact, I have never heard anything to contradict that from anyone who's played. It's a special place. But Dave, thank you for chatting with us.
No, good. Glad to be here.
By the way, I said us, so I sound like this is some big production. It's actually just me at my resident in. I'm in Augusta right now, but so I wanted to talk to you because, okay, so like right off the bat, let's be clear. You can't gamble on this match because gambling with state lines and federal regulations and licenses and blah blah blah. So there's no gambling taking place at this event, of course. You know, you can't gamble on the NCAA tournament either. So no gambling. However, you have created something that allows people to spend money, choose their winner, automatically receive a bunch of cool merchandise. And but again, it's not gambling, but it's a way of getting people to participate as viewers of the event, right?
Right. Yeah.
Uh, and most exciting of all, it's going to increase the money at this event for the competitors, or well, not or. It's making the event bigger and bigger. So right off the bat, thank you so much again for supporting this event. What is the way people aren't going to be betting on the event?
Well, I created like a crowdsourced fundraising program to where how the whole thing started. I was on the internet watching people talk about their sidearm guy was better than everybody else's sidearm guy, and it just going on and on and on. And Stokely was the best, and Eagle was the best, and everybody just kept going. I'm thinking, what happens if their money was involved in this? Would they still be so adamant about how good their guy was? So I started thinking about how you could do this. And obviously, like you said, gambling is not legal. Gambling has been made legal, but it's just not, the legislation is not all in place for it to happen. So this is a precursor to what I think is going to come, what's going to make disc golf more popular. Specifically, right now, when you go, everybody says, oh, I just wait till Tuesday to watch Joe Mez, right? And that's how it's, what's going to be, that's people like, why would I wait 4 hours? Why would I spend 4 hours on the weekend watching this when I could watch the recap, with Joe Mez? Well, what'll make that different is when you got money on it. When you got money on it, you're not waiting till Tuesday. You're going to watch it live as much as you possibly can. Right. Sure. So all those things got me thinking about how to do this. So I created I think it's almost like a Kickstarter kind of type thing where you can pledge. You can put $30 in, or 55 or 100. And for 30, you're going to get like $60 worth of stuff. For 55, you're going to get like $100 worth of stuff. And for $100, you're going to get like $180 worth of stuff. By stuff, I mean, you're going to get custom stamp Glow Wizard for the first package and a chance to be in the raffle. You're going to get a couple discs, one from Gateway, one from Dynamics for the $55 pledge. And for the $100 pledge, you're going to get one from Innova, one from Discraft, one from Discmania, and then another one from Gateway. So the value's there for pledging. So no matter what, even if there was no tournament, I could put this up and people would get twice their money worth of product, right? But the bonus to this is I'm peeling out a percentage of this to give to the players. So 25% of the proceeds or so goes to beef the prize pool up. Now, got a little slow start on it. Eagle was kind of injured, trying to get a hold of Innova after Ricky bailed out, who was in it at the beginning. Then all of a sudden Calvin Heimberg was in it. So while I had a full commitment from Dynamic Discs, I hadn't even talked to Innova about this yet. So they had to reel that in. Took a couple of weeks. They're probably over there freaking out about it, So it's like eventually I they get convinced that this is a cool thing. And it's with a fully funded pledge thing, which I accounted for like 900, 300 within each pledge category, it would have added about 15 extra thousand to the thing. So I think we're only going to get to maybe 150 or 200. Hopefully, when we get the message out a little bit more. There's only 2 weeks for the event to come up. So get the players. I kind of expected the players to contribute to basically help and put more money in the pool for themselves, right? And to get
Right.
their fans to get in there and say, hey, yeah, Calvin's my guy and Brody's my guy and and Eagle and you, right? So when it first launched it, you helped do some promotion. So half of the first ones that came in were like Stokely was the guy they picked. It's like, oh, that's awesome. I mean, I put the odds out, speculative odds. I put Eagle at 3 or 4 to 1, Calvin at 4 or 5 to 1, Brody at 10 to 1, and you at 12 to 1. That was based on player rating, right? Just based on
Sure.
kind of player rating and how we thought the things would come in. So they came in, you and Eagle right off the bat, just were neck and neck for the first so many. And then Calvin started coming on stronger. And then with the word that Eagle might be injured, Calvin started taking off. Now with Eagle back in playing this weekend at the tournament, now they're back to Eagle. So it's nice and refreshing for me to see that people will pledge $100 for this thing and get these discs that I get custom stamped with Eagles Crossing logos on it and things like that, knowing that a percentage of the money goes to those players. Most of the pledges so far are $100 ones, not the 55 and not the 30. They're almost all $100 pledges so far.
Well,
because there's value in it. You're going to get a buzz from a zone from Discraft, and you're going to get a glow rock from Innova, and one of a sidearm layup disc from Discmania, a glow wizard from Gateway, a raider from Discmania from Dynamic Discs. So there's a bunch of value in it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and then, so this is what I like about this is, I mean, this is kind of how I do things. Like I have a Patreon, but I'm not looking for donations. The way I do it is I'm going to give you free content, free tutorial videos. I'm going to entertain you, and so you're getting value for the money. So it's not like you're asking people to donate money so some pro disc golfers win more money. Like literally, you're just getting more stuff than you paid for. The fact that it also makes this event bigger and you're contributing to it is, I think, a bonus, right?
Yeah, I think instead of doing all this and selling it and jamming my money in my pocket, I'm going to do all this, make sure all the expenses are covered, and the profits basically go into the players for this thing. I think it's a precursor of what will come. Obviously, when there's gambling, right now there's prize picks. It's kind of set up real weird. And it's very difficult to win. I think I know the players. I'm out there on tour. I'm watching. It's like, but you've got to pick an over and under for each player, right? And you got to pick, and you got to do it in a parlay. So you got to get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Well, I'm over there betting 4 and 5 player parlays trying to hit one. And it's like, when I first saw Prize Picks, I contacted them like, hey, I think I know the players really well. Maybe I should do the odds for you. And they're like, yeah, why don't you put some money in there and gamble for a little bit and see how you do? And then we'll go from there. So I put a couple $100 in there, and I was doing. Then it's like at the beginning of Prize Picks, you had to pick an over and an under. You couldn't just go all over. So on a windy day, you picked all the players to go over, right? You couldn't do that. Well, now they're letting people do that, but man, somebody's giving them really good odds because they're coming up right on the number within 1 or 2 strokes. Yeah. It's really hard to do.
I've seen that too. Well, this is part of the evolution of our sport is that there's still innovation happening. Real quick, I do want to give a shout out to Gateway. The reason why everybody's getting a wizard is because all the sponsors of the players, manufacturer sponsors of the players, are basically contributing. I guess you have one more call to make. I'm throwing a mixed bag. So since I'm throwing a mixed bag, one of the companies whose discs I'm throwing is contributing, and even though I haven't announced that I'm going to be throwing Gateway discs, and even though I haven't announced that I'm releasing a new Tour Series disc in 3 weeks, hypothetically, if it was Gateway, you stepped up and are making the donation. So part of what's being donated isn't even like you're selling something. You're actually separate from this as a sponsor donating to the event in my name as well.
And exactly. And I appreciate you. I'm happy to be, supporting you. And I, and if I could have had a little bit more to this, I could have got whether Birdie or Castaplaster, whoever they are, right? It's like, me, I'm all inclusive to a fault from, I tried to be the Kissinger of disc golf back in the day with Jim Kenner and Dave Dunneplace. And that was, and Steve Howell from Lightning and that stuff. That was hard. That was a hard job to do.
Sure.
So One of the reasons, another reason why this got going on is Phil Samuels, who owns Eagles Crossing. He won't let any advertising on his course. He is modeling his golf course after the Augusta National Disc Golf Course down in Augusta, Georgia, right? And during the PGA, when the Masters is played, there's no advertising. You don't see billboards all over that course like you see the other ones, right? There's nothing like that. And even in the GK production of this thing, he's not letting them even do graphics on air. It's like, this is an Eagles Crossing tournament. He wants to focus. He really wants the course, and when people come there to play an event, he wants to be out the players. He wants the players to have the best experience possible. And not that billboards and banners and stuff. Like I can tell you, I'll give you an example. I went to Smuggler's Notch, and I was there before the PGA Tour, the PDJ Disc Golf Network, before Disc Golf Network got there, right? I'm like, this place looks awesome. This is killer. So, the landscape and the terrain. I went back to where I was staying, came back the next day, and all the Disc Golf Pro Tour stuff was up. And I get it. That's what you need to do to pay the bills. You got to have some sponsors around that course. But it just, to me, it ruined the aesthetics of the course completely. So I know where Phil's coming from, that he doesn't want little things below the basket or above the basket and banners everywhere on all the tees and stuff. The Disc Golf Pro Tour absolutely needs it because that's what supports and funds the thing. But Phil Samuels don't need it. So it's not going to be out there. And it's not even going to be on GK. He's going to pay them the money, and whatever advertisement they would have sold, he's going to give them the extra money for it.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about Phil is that his motives for this course they're not financially driven, and he's also big picture long term. Like he wants to have the greatest disc golf course in the sport and the greatest experience in the sport. Not that that's everyone, right? I mean, everybody wants that as well, but he's backing it.
Well, yeah, it's one thing to say that. It's one thing to make it happen. When I first got involved in the project, and I went out there, and he told me, I got a place I want you to look at. And I went out there and looked at it. I was like, oh my God. It's like a bit like every corner I made in this cart, like a side by side we ran around. Here's another par 4 and another par 4 and just, another lake and over a hill. Just everywhere I went was another phenomenal disc golf hole. And the way that what I've designed the course out there to service more than anything is to be spectated. Right. And I was able to leave room for spectating that was kind of naturally, organically there already and create these holes and flow of the course where I think it can get a couple, 2,000-3,000 people to walk through the course and not interfere with play. And that's a lot because you can't do that when you even at Smuggler's Notch or this weekend in Augusta. You can't mark 2,000 people through that place. There's no way. This place you see it on film, right? And that's just one thing. And it looks, whoa, that looks awesome. There's a 12-foot high green area with blocks, out over the water. Well, I tell the guy, hey, we can put a little pin on the edge of this lake and build a little 12, 15-foot retaining wall right here. He's like, well, why would I do anything like that? He'd drain the lake and build like a 60-foot retaining wall, 10 feet high and bring the pin out on like a peninsula over and over again, hole after hole. I was out there 2 days ago. He's building these giant spectator areas. They're like 30 feet deep by like 40 feet wide that are plateaued and raised up just for people to hang out and sit on some benches and watch casually as a group. Like really nice stations, like hospitality stations all over the course. There's 3 of them in right now. He's got a couple more to go.
Yeah, no, it's a special thing. So before we forget, and I should have mentioned this earlier, there's going to be a link down below to follow to decide what pledge level you want to pledge. It'll list what you get and who you want to pick, who you think's the favorite to win. I've watched that course on video enough where I've actually I know what disc I'm going to throw in every single hole. Like I've done the homework. So I think these guys are in trouble.
You're gonna need a trip. You're gonna need a trip through there, though. It seems like what about the course and what makes a really good course is when there is scoring spread. Every hole out there is birdieable, but also every hole is bogeyable. So the more aggressive you play to get birdies, like I think if you're in your mind, if you said I'm gonna par every hole at Eagles Crossing, any 1,020 rated player could go out there and par every hole, right? But that's probably not going to win you the tournament. You're going to have to go 4 or 5 under for a couple rounds in a row in a tournament. Why Phil loves skins matches, besides being able to get 4 players out there, charge $200 a ticket. Now he's got 100 tickets sold at $200 a piece. It's a very intimate atmosphere, right? So those 100 people that are paid $200, they just get lunch and they get to see and meet the players. This is a separate thing, and that's another what I was getting to before is why I wanted to do this. He's not letting anybody really advertise for the players, manufacturers, and sponsors. they're not really getting a whole lot of promotion other than when the player's there and he's on film. But this allows those people to get in there and get behind their guy and then support it, that way.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, you can come out, watch the event. It's $200. Again, meet the players, get to you get a round of golf on the course,
Oh,
but also,
a clinic though. You're giving a clinic
and
afterwards.
I am doing a throwing clinic as well. That's included. And in fact, when I talked to Phil about it, I mean, I'm trying to follow along the spirit of what Phil is doing here. He's giving so much. He said to me when I told him I want to do a clinic, he goes, "Cool, how much are you charging for it?" And I said, "I don't want to charge for it." I go, "I want to do a clinic. I want to make it part of the event because I want to be able to basically do what you're doing in a tiny little way, which is what can I do to just give to the event and make the event better." So when people come out, that's part of the experience. My clinic is going to be included in it. It's a 2-hour clinic, or you can golf. You can do whatever you want, but it's going
Yeah.
to be amazing. Wow, I'm super excited. I'll make some more videos as we get closer. I hope the other players are also promoting the heck out of it, but there's a limit to 200 people that can come watch in person. So I'll also put a link down below to buy your tickets, because once those 200 tickets are gone, that's it, right?
Well, I think it's only 100 tickets, but we're right at 100 right now. I think he said that he was going to open it up. So there's some staff altogether. I think there's about 100 tickets are sold, so it's almost sold out. I told him he probably needs to open it up for like 10 or 20 more at least. I mean, so he doesn't really want it overran. He could have probably lowered that to 50 or $100 and got 300 or 500 players out there, but he really wants to keep it a very intimate atmosphere. Last year there were 60 or 65 tickets sold, and then another 15, 20 staff members and things like that. Even me, I had to buy 16 tickets for my guys who work for me to get them off work. I paid $3,200 just to get my guys to come off for a day to go out there. It's a nice wellness activity for the people who work for me. They're stoked. They're jazzed up. Afterwards, you got your clinic, and then after that, they can play a free round on the course. So it's going to be right now. There's only been a couple tournaments. They've been real casual, but Phil's really gung ho on these skins matches. Not only so the OTB skins for the whole entire year, the winner of each week, and it started at the Pro Tour event in Vegas and went each week. I think 6 or 7 people have qualified so far. All the people who win the OTB skins each week also qualify for what's going to be a grand finale at the end of the year. And I think the successes from this crowdsource fundraiser, we're going to peel this right back into this fall thing where you will be able to become. We're hoping that is a no sellout, meaning that we're going to try to get 1,000, 2,000 people there. I'd like to think we can get the ticket price down a little bit to get some people there, but it's a very cool. Once you're there, seeing on film is one thing, but once you're there, it's just there's a whole nother magnitude of what's going on out there to be there in person.
That sounds amazing. Well, I love it. And I love, one final thing. I love that this whole idea for the crowdfunding, pick your player, started with people debating who the second best side armor in the world is. That's cool that they want to know who gets the silver medal. A little bit lower podium than mine. I mean, but not a lot. I mean, the silver medal below, that's not that far below mine, right? But that's cool that that's how it started. And yes, there's trash talking at the skins match. I've already been writing my material down on cue cards. I'm going to be well prepared for it. So cool, Dave. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time. Maybe we get back together and revisit one more time, just like if you're out at the course or something like next week. But I can't wait. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. And Dave, thank you very much. Gateway Discs is sponsoring the event. They're sponsoring my name at the event. They designed the greatest course in the world, and I've always been your biggest fan as well. So thank you so much, Dave, for your support over the years. And I know you're part of the reason why I got selected to compete in this event. I know you were part of it.
Well,
Even if
Phil
you won't
saw
admit it.
that he likes the way you speak you speak publicly, and even, I'm impressed all the time about the fluidity of your conversation. So there's a lot of factors that go into stuff like that.
Well, you played a part. I know you did.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. I know there's one conversation where he asked your opinion about me, and whatever you said.
Well, don't you remember? They called me and told me you weren't going, and I was like, "What? Why isn't he going?" Then I called you. Remember?
Yeah, actually, here I'll leave with a funny story then. Yeah, so for some reason, this is how stupid I am, but every word of this story is exactly true. What happened? So the tournament is the Tuesday after Jonesboro, but like Thursday, the Dynamic Discs Open starts. And of course, I want to get to from Jonesboro to Dynamic Discs to prepare for the Dynamic Discs Open. And this event's going to be on a Tuesday between, which gets in the way of preparing for DDO. So when he called me and asked me if I wanted to be part of the world's biggest skins match, I said, "Oh, that's really flattering. Thank you so much. Can't do it." I literally told him no.
Phil, you
And
told Phil.
I told Phil no.
Yeah.
And so I hung up the phone. And then you called me on the phone. You're like, "Dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is like basically in so many words. Hey, here's like I'm going to paraphrase the conversation. Hey, Scott, how would you like to be on the lead card of a major tournament? Automatically." And it's like, I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? Right. Well, no, I hung up the phone with you and I actually explained to you why I couldn't do it. I hung up the phone. I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I got to call Dave. And I grabbed my phone and Adriana's like, Scott, don't call Dave. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I got to call him. I don't want him to give my spot away. And she's like, well, I don't think he's going to give your spot away at 3:05. And so I sat there, waited till like 8 a.m. and I called you 8 a.m. and I'm like, is it too late to change my mind? And then I called up Phil and it wasn't too late and I got in and I was like, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was so fixated on DGPT that I was like, anything that gets in the way of that. Yeah, I said no. But you called and told me I was an idiot and you weren't wrong.
I don't think I
So,
use
no,
those words, but yeah. Well, I'm glad you're in. I'm looking forward to it. This is a big thing. I think these types of matches, they'll probably eventually come down, Scott, to one-on-one matches, pay-per-view type stuff. It'll get there one day, just like that. It'll be, you against, whoever you against Eagle sidearm, whatever it is. So that, I think this is just a precursor to what's come in terms of, these big events that are like this that are just easy to watch and you get your guy, you pick your guy. So I'm anxious to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. I love it. All right, thanks, man. We will be in touch. I'll post this video tomorrow.
All right, Scott. See you,
man. All right, again, everybody, link down below. Two links down below. One is to pick your winner and get $30, $50, or $100 pledge, which will get you like $80, $120, or $180 worth of stuff. And you also can purchase tickets to watch in person. You get the whole day out there. You get to meet everybody, watch the event live. There's going to be, I'll be doing a 2-hour throwing clinic is included. Isn't lunch included too?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's going to be like an amazing day if you come out there. So those are the two links that'll be down below. Thanks, Dave.
All right, man. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.